Welcome. In this session, we would start with Supreme Court, that's the judiciary of India. And in the next subsequent lectures, we would talk about High Court, Subordinate Court. To begin with the Supreme Court, India has a single unified judiciary. What does that imply? It implies that all the courts would interpret and enforce the state laws and the laws that have been made by the parliament, and the subordinate court, the district courts, even the high court are subject to control under Supreme Court. So the laws which are declared by Supreme Court would be binding to all the courts within the territory of India, and that's what is the basic idea what we discuss here. Now, what was the basis for establishment of Supreme Court? So under the Government of India Act 1935, a legacy for the Federal Court of India was established. Now, this Federal Court of India, if there was any decision, it was taken up to the Privy Council in UK. Now, when it was taken up to the Privy Council in UK, this was prior to independence. Post-independence, we have Supreme Court in India as the highest court of appeal within the territory of India. Now, why is there a need for Supreme Court? That's another important question that we must answer. So, Supreme Court is important because Supreme Court interprets the constitution, and that is really important for the sake of stability in a country, and therefore Supreme Court is regarded as the final interpreter and guardian of the constitution. So Supreme Court is called as the guardian of the constitution, final interpreter of the constitution, and it's the role of Supreme Court to protect the fundamental rights. It may also issue writs. We would understand that in a while as we proceed. Also, Supreme Court under its proceedings give a new meaning to the Constitution, which is meant to tackle a new situation. For example, right to life means right to live a life with human dignity, and that implies that we are towards protecting for education and for health. So these rulings actually emphasize that Supreme Court gives new meaning to the various constitutional statements which are given, and that is to meet the new situations that come up. Clear? Now let's take up some of the important cases from Supreme Court. For example, in 2022, there was a guideline on freebies. What is freebies? Freebies are the free things that are distributed. Now, this was that if each political party is distributing freebies, that would affect the vote bank. Now, that is to determine the conduct of the political parties in this manner. And why there was a question on freebies? The question on freebies was because if the state can't provide it, they are being pushed into bankruptcy, right? So if the states can't provide freebies and they have to provide freebies, then what would happen? They would be pushed into bankruptcy, and that could be detrimental for the development of the state. Similarly, in 2013, Supreme Court ruled that if a member of parliament or a member of legislative assembly convicted a criminal offence which attracts 2 years of punishment or above, then the person would be disqualified immediately, and that is in even in the case if the person is in office, and even if the appeal against the sentence has been given. So it's very important that this decision was to ensure that the MPs and the MLAs that get elected do not have any serious criminal charges which have brought them into imprisonment for 2 years or above. So let's start with understanding the composition of Supreme Court. So when we talk about Supreme Court, we have the CJI, the Chief Justice of India. Now, along with the Chief Justice of India, initially at the very beginning of the Constitution of the Supreme Court, there were 7 judges. At present, we say there cannot be more than 33 judges, excluding CJI. That means in all 34 judges, right? that was under the 2019 Act. So as of now, we have a maximum of 34 judges, which is CGI plus 33 other judges, right? In 1950, this limit of 7 judges was increased to 12. In 1960, there were 15 judges. In 1977, there were 18 judges. Later, it was 26, then 31, and as of now it is 34 judges in all. Now, how are the judges of Supreme Court appointed, and then the Chief Justice of India appointed? So, the Chief Justice of India is appointed by the President in consultation with the original Chief Justice of India, and that consultation is obligatory. It's must, right? And how would the Chief Justice, the present Chief Justice who would be electing the next one, would determine that? So, the present Chief Justice would actually consult the 4 senior most judges in hierarchy before any recommendation is given to the President. And this system in itself is called as what? The system is called as collegium system. Now, this collegium system is really important. The criteria is to appoint based on the seniority. So, most of the cases, the senior most judge would become the Chief Justice of India. And how are other judges of Supreme Court appointed? The other judges of Supreme Court are basically appointed by the President in consultation with the judges of Supreme Court as well as High Court as deemed necessary by the President. Right? So, the consultation would be with other judges of Supreme Court, with the judges of High Court as deemed necessary by the President, and definitely the CGI, that's the Chief Justice of India, is consulted. Now, this collegium system came up with numerous issues, that this is a